check our windshield. Windshield is not cracked, has no illegal stickers, fairly clean. We'll go out here and check our mirrors. Make sure our mirrors are secure, they're not cracked, they are adjusted for me. We'll come down here to our driver's door pouch. We're gonna make sure we've got our permit book, hazmat book, and extra fuses. From there, we're gonna come over here to our fire extinguisher. Make sure it is secure to the floor, charged to 10 BC with the pin in place. Check our seat belt. Make sure the seat belt is not torn or frayed. It latches and unlatches properly. It is secure to the wall, and it is secure to the floor / seat. Over there under the passenger side, we've got a red box that contains 3 reflective triangles. It's securely mounted to the floor. From there, we're going to come over here to our shifter boot. Make sure the shifter boot is not torn, not letting any fumes up in the cab of the tractor. We'll check our shifter itself. Make sure it has no excessive play, it's not bent. We'll come over here and check our clutch. Make sure the clutch has no more than 1.25 inches of fall. The clutch pad is in place and not torn. We're going to check our brake pad and our accelerator pad. Make sure they're in place, they're not torn. We'll make sure there's nothing rolling around in the floorboard that would obstruct the use of the pedals. From there, we're going to come up to our 20-inch steering wheel. Make sure it has no more than 2 inches or 10 degrees of play. We're going to check our city horn. Make sure the button is in place and it does work. We'll come over here and check our air horn. Make sure the cable is not frayed, it's not cut, and it works. Now I'm going to turn my switch on. Make sure my ABS light comes on and goes off within 3 seconds. My gauges have reset. I'm going to turn my lights on and make sure my dash lights illuminate. I'm going to come to my wiper arm. I've got 5 things with this wiper arm. I'll check my left turn indicator, my right turn indicator, my high beam indicator. All of those are working. We're going to check our wipers. They are working. They're making contact with the windshield. We're going to check our windshield washer fluid, make sure it sprays correctly and it is not antifreeze. We're going to come over with the right hand. We're going to check our 4-way indicator. It's working. We're going to check our defroster. Make sure it blows with no obstructions. We're going to put it back to floor heat. Make sure it blows with no obstructions. Now we're going to do a safe start. We're going to push the clutch in, put the truck in neutral, start the truck. First gauge we're going to check is going to be our oil pressure. We want to make sure it rises within 5 seconds. Normal range is going to be between 40 and 60. Then we're going to check our water temperature. It's reading about 170. Normal operating temperature is going to be around 180. We're going to check our RPM gauge, grab the engine. It's working. We're going to check our voltmeter. It's reading 14.0, which lets me know the system is charging properly. We're going to check our speedometer when we do our 5-mile-an-hour brake test. Our fuel gauge is reading 3/4 of the tank, which corresponds with the visual we done in section B. Our DEF is showing about 3/4 of the tank. That also corresponds with section B, and we've got enough DEF to make it to our destination. Our primary and secondary air gauges are reading about 125. Cut in is going to be 100. Cut out is going to be around 125. Now we're going to check our service of our brakes. I'm going to push the clutch in, put the truck in gear. I'm going to release my trailer brakes, make sure my tractor brakes are holding. Lay my foot in the floor, ease out on the clutch. Tractor brakes is holding. Now I'm going to release the tractor brakes, check the trailer brakes. Ease out on the clutch. You can foot off that brake. Well, that's holding. Now I'm going to release both brakes. I'm going to pull forward at just under 5 miles an hour. I'm going to hit the brake, make sure the truck doesn't pull to the left or to the right, which would indicate a low tire. or a brake issue. I'm gonna pull forward. I'm gonna check my speedometer. It's working. I'm gonna let go of the wheel when I hit the brake. The truck didn't pull left or right, so we're good there. Now, I'm gonna put the truck in neutral. Pull my brakes. I'm gonna pump my brakes and get my air pressure just below 100. We're gonna make sure our governors kick on and charge our system back to 125, at which time we'll hear a purge or a blow off. If you want to rev it up to about 1,000 RPMs to speed up this process, you can. Right there's the purge. Our system is fully charged back to 125. Now we're going to do a safe shut off. Push the clutch in. Make sure the truck is in first or reverse. Brakes are set. Shut the truck off. Don't even take your hand off the ignition. Turn that key right back over. Now we're going to release both valves, and we shouldn't lose. We're going to release both valves, and we shouldn't lose more than 3 psi in 1 minute after the initial drop. So listen for the hiss to stop and watch your needle. When that stops, start your timer and hold it for about 1:05. So we're going to pretend it's been a minute. Now I'm going to apply the foot brake and make sure I don't lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute after the initial drop. Same thing, watch that needle. When it stops moving, go ahead and start your timer. We're going to hold it for about 1:05 as well. So we'll pretend it's been a minute. Now we're going to continue pumping the brake. We're going to check that our low hour warning light and buzzer comes on before 55. Right there's my light and my buzzer. Now I'm going to continue pumping the brake, and both my valves should pop at approximately 40, engaging the spring brakes. So right there, they both pop. This concludes the in-cab air brake test. Now we're going to do a safe start. I'm going to push the clutch in, put the truck in neutral, start the truck back, just let it build our system back up to 125. Good.